Hi, welcome to my channel. This video, there comes a point when you just got to do it, whatever that doing it is, whatever it's around, whether it's manifesting in general, whether it's your mindset, whether it's your self-concept, you have to just get on with it and do it. So you have to stop watching videos and reading books, at least for a period of time, while you decide this is it. I know what I need to do. The first thing to do is go, what do I really, really want? Sometimes I will do something, I will take some action. I think, yeah, I want to do this. I'll take some action, I'll do it. And the results will come and I'll think, it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't really feel that this is my road. So if you get a feeling like that, sort of any resistance there, which I call sort of an unnatural feeling inside of you, or a feeling that something's just a little bit off, generally that's because that isn't really what you want. So what you want to get to the bottom of, what do I really want from life? Do I need to change my mindset in order to get that? So am I often thinking about the fact that I don't have it? Am I often dwelling in the old story while still trying to manifest? So telling myself a new story while still telling myself an old story. What am I doing that's in contradiction with the life that I want? And really look at that and be honest with yourself. What am I doing wrong? You're not really doing anything wrong as such. We can never do anything wrong, but what we're always manifesting, we're always creating our life as we go, every single day, every minute of every single day, every second of every single day. But consciously doing it is another thing, isn't it? So if you want something and you're constantly thinking about the negative around that thing that you want, and you're focused on that a lot, and you're reminding yourself of it, so a circumstance, I guess, then you are fighting against what it is that you want. So you're fighting against that energy, and that energy of not having it is way stronger than the energy of having it, because you don't have it at the moment. So it's not as easy to find that feeling or to be free of it. It's much easier to drop into old thoughts. The science of it is this, the human biology of it is this. Our brain already has that pathway, that negative pathway is there. So it will find the easiest route. It will always find the most familiar. It will always drop into the most familiar. So those kind of thoughts that we've been having for a long time are very familiar to our mind. So it easily goes back there. It doesn't so easily go to the new stuff because that feels a little bit uncomfortable, maybe a little bit resistant. There's other feelings around it, and it will nag you why you can't have this, why you can't feel this way, why you're never going to get a great self-concept. Because again, it's all of those, it's tapping into all of that familiar stuff that's already there, and you're trying to create a new pathway. Just find with you what is the best way for you to manifest. Is it affirmations? Do you like affirmations? Is it vision board? Is it scripting? Is it just finding the feeling? Is it just getting on with life and letting it unfold for you? Whatever feels most comfortable and most natural to you, which you would like to, the way you would like to go, do that, but do it. Absolutely do it. So if you're working at detachment, so just getting on with life, keep doing it. And every time you find yourself going back to the negative and the thoughts that something isn't here, pull yourself back from it, give yourself a switch word, but constantly do it, like all of the time, consistently do it. That's the problem we have, is consistency. And I used to say this to myself, use that exact phrase, the title of this video, for fuck's sake, just do it. I get annoyed with myself at the start, but then I just use it as like a power phrase when I found myself slipping. My issue was not that. My issue was slipping back into old thoughts and just not noticing it for ages, and then realizing that I was doing it again. Keep doing it. So having the positive thoughts and talking to myself in a positive way, and trying to kind of stop that train of thought that would just run away with me, and going back into it, and then letting myself and kind of going into victim mode a little bit, I suppose. I think that is what we do when we do that, and we feel like we're kind of protesting at something, to something, like it's something else's fault. And it was a bit like that, I think, at the start. So I had to just keep telling myself, stop doing that. Just keep on keeping on. Keep on with the positive. Keep on with the positive opposite. Every time you feel yourself doing that, pull yourself straight out of it. Don't wait days. Don't go into victim mode and start telling whatever this is that you're pissed off with it in a kind of a roundabout way, sort of saying it to yourself, but kind of think you're aiming at something else. That's not going to get you anywhere. So I had to just keep reminding myself of that and keep doing it. I'm just talking a little bit about things like subliminals and meditation audios. They're brilliant at helping you get into the right mindset, helping you create that inner energy, helping you create that energy that leads you to what it is that you want. So whether that's a new mindset, you know, whether that's around your self-concept or anything that you want to manifest, but they are useless if you are fighting with them all the time. If you listen to them and think, well, they're just going to do the magic, but in all the other time it doesn't matter if I go into victim mode and start telling myself all of the reasons that this isn't happening for me, and going into that energy, because that energy is super powerful. But again, I would say they're only as good as your mindset. So they're only as good as your determination to change something, and your determination to stop yourself dropping into the old thought patterns and just going back into the same old. Because the thing is, when you do that, you'll just experience the same old. Nothing will change. If you have the mindset that I want this to change, I want different, and I am going to make sure that I do everything in my power to stop myself from falling into old thoughts, which will cause feelings, which will cause the energy of that negative kind of aspect of it, what you don't want to see, and then do it like that and just use them as a form of relaxation and meditation, then in most cases they're hugely successful. I use them myself. I use frequency, I use my own subliminals, I use frequency that aren't mine. I don't make frequency tracks myself, but I love all of that, and they work really well for me because it's not like I have a huge belief they're going to work. I'm just not resistant to them. I'm not fighting with them. I'm not telling myself the opposite and reminding myself of what I can see right now that isn't this. I don't do that. I use frequencies I use beauty frequencies a lot. I've just found a couple of YouTube channels that I like. I'm just relaxing and listening to them and using them as a form of meditation. So it's about not fighting with yourself all of the time and deciding, no, enough is enough. Something has to change. And that needs to change from today. There's no point in me having these positive thoughts and kind of dealing with it and then dropping back into the old ones and letting myself, you won't be able to help it sometimes just dropping into it. Like I said, sometimes I do as well, but you have to pull yourself back. You simply have to go, no, I'm not having this anymore. I am changing this. I want different, and I can't have different if I keep going back into the same old thoughts. It is a bit of a project, but see it as a challenge. No, I want to change this. I know that I'm not going to move in my life in where I want to go if I keep feeling like this and thinking like this. Something has to change. Like I always say, you have to change something before something can change. It really is the case. But it's like making that decision today, or if today is not that time for you, making that decision at some point. No, this is what I want, and I know what I have to do in order to get it. I just have to be consistent and persistent with doing that. This is a different example, it's an action thing, but let's say I'm doing an SEO project, which I do actually. I have taken on a few new ones actually recently, and they're the kind of big things because Jeremy has another business and they work for high-end estate agents in London. So I have been doing it, getting a bit more into it, but I know that there's a formula, that if I stick to this formula, I will get results at some point. But SEO is very, people call it the dark art and they get scared of it. And I was teaching my friend for a couple of hours the other day, giving her a lesson in it. And she said that to me, it's the dark art. I said, it isn't. It's just a basic formula to follow. But people get fed up with it because they don't get immediate results. So they give up. And it's exactly the same with this, really. You don't get the results as quick as you would like, so you just end up giving up. You don't necessarily make the decision to give up, but you just start slipping back into those old thoughts again because it's easy, because you're feeling a bit pissed off and a bit frustrated, and you kind of want to take it out on something. And this is what happens with SEO in particular, is it does take time to start seeing those really great results, but they do come if you're persistent with it. And if I ever do a workshop, I'm always saying to people, you just got to be persistent and consistent. You have to do it every single week, and you have to not stop. Basically, just not stop doing it. It's for that, I know this is a completely different thing, but it's a really good kind of comparison because you can't stop with SEO. You have to keep going, because if you stop and you just think, oh, brilliant, I've got those positions now, and you don't do anything, you just go back into old ways of not doing anything for a few months, you'll just lose them again. And it's like this. If you kind of think, oh, I'm done now, I'm done with all of this now, oh yeah, I feel great. I mean, I have to keep on with my self-concept all of the time, not to the extent that I was before, of course, but I do have to remind myself, and I do make the odd affirmative statement to myself, especially if I feel a little bit of dip, just bring myself back again. It's a project, it's an ongoing project. We are all projects. We are never finished. Just as SEO is never finished, we are never finished. So I hope that that was useful. It's just about doing it, making that decision, and not letting your, as my brother-in-law would say, your monkey mind get in the way, and just putting it back in its cage and just making that decision. No, enough is enough. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I will get results eventually, but I don't know how long that will take, but I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to try. I'm going to do. So there's a difference between trying and doing. If you're in doing mode, that's awesome. Trying mode is another matter, because you're constantly fighting with what you see. You get confirmation bias, and so you go down that negative road again. But if you're just doing, then that is brilliant. Okay, I hope this was useful. I wasn't too sure what video to make today. I've got a few kind of in mind, and I haven't had that much time to film. So hopefully this was the right one at the right time for you. And thanks for watching. If you don't already know, I'm a mindset coach, a manifesting coach, although I'm doing much more mindset coaching these days. And I am an author, and I write about the law of attraction.